Hi, Tracy here with a process video to share layout 12 by 12 using the Studio Calico February kit. And here's my sketch that is my inspiration. I found that on Pinterest. And I'm going through what's left of the kit here. I don't have a whole bunch left of this particular month's kit. I'm showing you everything up close, but I don't use it all. I do use some of the letters and the stamp and a bunch of the papers. And the sketch ended up being my jumping off point. My actual, like, as my husband said, I showed him, look honey, I used a sketch to do this layout because I can't find a good sketch that really inspires me, but I happened to go on Pinterest this day and I found several. I ended up printing out like 5 or 6 of them that I fell in love with. Right now I've left the desk because I'm over off at my Caterpillar Pro cutting paper, and I was cutting the pictures, making them smaller actually, and a little bit different size because I am positioning them so that that little paper where he wrote Bill Gates, that becomes part of my title. And I'm probably off cutting. That was that Premier stock paper from Joanne that is flat. I use that to mat. And these papers are all from the kit. And I'm going to outline these and do little scribbles on them. And I only outline these 3. I use a ton of other papers and I don't outline them. And I really debated on that. And I still don't know if I should have. I have the finished product and I like it the way it is though. So there you go. For me, it just all, when you see how many little scraps that I use, having all of those outlined would have been too busy and too much pop for all of that paper. I kind of liked them being a little, because it's so much paper and they're so wild, it was a little better having them a little more subdued. So I cut that paper down a little more because I wanted that to be more like a mat and not a background. Sort of a background and a mat actually, but I just didn't want too much paper sticking out the edges of that because of what I'm going to do with all these papers. So now I'm cutting the papers to make them smaller because I'm going to use scraps going around the edges. Again, the sketch was inspiration. Well, I don't know if I finished saying it. My husband said, or did I? This is like the 3rd time I've tried to do the audio on this on this layout. I'm losing my mind. Actually, I already lost my mind, so I don't even know how I'm speaking. Anyway, he thought that the two didn't look like each other at all. I think I did finish sharing that. Anyway, so I'm continuing to cut. This was my son for his open house. They did a whole wax museum, and he was a wax character of Bill Gates, and his little thing was that you had to walk up and click the mouse, and then he would turn on and tell his little speech. And you know, all the different characters had different things you had to do. But he did really great at it. It was fun. And I keep adding more papers. Unfortunately, I'm out of the view of the camera. I did not realize that I was up at the top. That grid paper up at the very top left corner, I end up not using that. I pull that out. It's too like brown and dingy background, and everything else is white and bright. So that just didn't go. It stood out, and I didn't care for it. I didn't end up using any of those cutouts from the one sheet that had like tickets and stuff. I didn't use that either for that same reason, basically. The colors of these papers went so well with my son, with his shirt, and then the yellow and the blue of the papers with the mouse. So it called out to use this kit. And I may have my kits a little bit mixed up too, by the way. Some of these papers may be from the January or even the March kits. I try not to do that, but it does happen every now and then that I pull something out to use and then I don't remember which kit it came from. You know, like I'm working with the March kit and I pull something from February and then I forget, oh yeah, that came from February. So I think this is basically the gist of what I want here. And yeah, I was going to say that. I took a picture. I got that idea from Mercy Tiara, Tracy. So that I would remember where they were. I didn't end up needing it all that much because I was able to glue stuff down without having to move everything off. But that's such a handy idea. I get a lot of ideas from her. She's fantastic. And I'm gluing them down. And eventually I'm going to have to pull those pictures off because I realize, oh, I want to ink. And I am going to use that stamp, and that comes out perfectly. I love it. I mean, not perfect. Oh, so hoity-toity. Yeah, my layout's perfect. But I do really love it for this layout, and the way it's stamped is so nice. It's a great stamp. And here I'm going to ink like the sketch, and I don't know what my colors look like. And this little layout inspired me to finally make a little chart of my inks. So I will be, from now on I'm going to have a chart because I finished it today. So I had to take those pictures off because I wanted ink everywhere. I didn't want to cover up just that area with the pictures because I really wanted splattered ink like all over this layout. And I was showing you that I'm using, that is Mr. Huey's Warm Calico, I believe that was, that I showed, and Pinstripe. And I think that's Skyscraper that I'm making dark. And then that is Fireworks Dandelion. I went with the Mr. Huey's on this because I was going for kind of that more dingy look. I got those new Heidi Swap inks that I'm dying to use, but this layout did not call out for those. Those were too shiny and pretty and bright. Now here I'm going to stamp that stamp, and I want the second, well, first of all, I've never used that stamp before, so I did that to work out the kinks of it, and then I realized I wanted the second stamping of it, so it was a little bit lighter, excuse me. And I think now I do put the, oh, that was my daughter's hand. She was saying hi. She just got back home from practice then. That's funny. There we go. Now I put them down. And I really like that. And that becomes part of my title area. Here I am pulling out the letters. I do end up using these, but not for being. Oh, I don't know what happened to this video. This happened when I converted it. That says being, and then I'm going to have it, I'm going to put some Studio Calico arrows that point to Bill Gates. And now I have such an empty space there, so I I was gonna just have it being Bill Gates, but then I added Chad because there was so much space there. This video got funny when I converted it. I apologize for that. Those are washi tapes, those little spools. I get those from Etsy. There's a couple of shops at least that sell them like that, where you can buy like 30 yards and then you get 10 spools of 3 feet each. And I just love to buy the washi tape that way. It's so economical. And here I am taping it on there. I'm going to tape it there. Use a couple different ones there, and then down on the right corner too. That's my book that I keep all my arrows in. And I keep my flat little tiny letters in that book. I have it all organized. Love that. That was one of the best organizing things I ever did, because it's just so easy to use now. So I put those arrows. I apologize for this video. It wasn't like this until I converted it. Isn't the light nice now though? I got my OT lights. That's why it's so bright and beautiful. I got 2 OT lights from Lowe's, and what a great deal. Okay, these label little tabs, or whatever you want to call them, came from the Studio Calico kit, and they were a little too bright, so I added some ink. And then I'm going to mess up this ink trying to clean it. It was too thick of a spot, so I flipped it over, and it looked just as good going the other way. I was so happy about that. So then I think that was my husband's hand earlier. Boy, the whole family joined in this video. And now I'm going to put Chad on top of those. And then I'm going to add an arrow to the left of that too. There's the arrow. And then, yeah, I'm going to put this tab down. And it says, on a scale from 1 to 10, it was a, and then I'm going to circle the 10 at the end. This is actually the manufacturer strip from the Pebbles paper from the kit. Hello is the name of the paper. Can't remember the line. Anyway, I'm going to put that on the bottom. And I popped that one up. So that the part that says on a scale from 1 to 10 is popped up a little bit. And then I'm going to add, this is K & Company Smash. It's those little magnet arrow things. They're like bookmarks, but anyway, I got the package at Michael's for 79 cents. They were on clearance, and it just worked so perfect right here. And I fiddle around with this a bit, and I finally do find a tag or a badge that works. That is, there we go. That's the one that worked. Because I didn't like the tail of the arrow on there with this layout, but with the badge on there, it just was perfect. And I'm going to put a badge down in the bottom corner, right-hand corner too. And let's see. Oh, and I got those badges from Life in Bits and Pieces, which I got them from the actual website and ordered enough to get the free shipping. I really like that store. There we go. There's the badge I go with, that one arrow one, pointing to the 10. And then I put those other arrows on there. And at the end, the pictures are going to show some little star bling things that I put on a couple of the areas, whatever you call them. Oh, can't think of the word. Those are reflections from Michael's, but I don't put them on now. I put them on after I was all done. So anyway, that's the there they are. See those? Those are from Michael's. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed.